Hello everyone, in today's video we will be correcting your worksheets together, so let's get started immediately with Wednesday's worksheet. As you can see, we have some problems that we need to solve here, so let's get reading. Problem number 1 says, a skyscraper with 25 floors, a skyscraper has 25 floors and each floor has 8 apartments. If there are 9 windows per apartment, how many windows in total are there in the skyscraper? So, to figure out how many windows overall, we need to figure out first how many windows there are per floor. Because what we have right now is the number of windows per apartment. But each floor has 8 apartments, which means that to find how many uh, windows there are per floor, I need to multiply 8 and 9. 8 and 9, if I multiply them, I get 72. So there are 72 windows for every one floor. And next, what I'm going to do is multiply the number of windows per floor with the number of floors. So I'm going to do 72 times 25. As I'm doing this multiplication, I would like to point out that there is another way to go about this. I could have done 25 times 8 first, and then whatever I found, I could have multiplied that by 9. We would have gotten the same result. It's the same thing. Okay, 5 times 2 gives me 0, and then carry 1. So here we're going to have 36. That doesn't look like a 3. There we go. And 0 beneath the ones, and 2 times 74 would give me 144. So 4 here, 4 here, and 1 here. And this took up a little more space than expected, but that's okay. Three and 4 makes 7, and 1 that I carried over makes 8. So we have a total of 1,800 windows in the entire skyscraper. Next problem that we have says, a company has bought for its new offices 3 computers with a cost of 625 euros per unit, meaning that each computer is going to cost 625 euros. 3 new desks, which cost 185 euros, and 5 rotating chairs with a cost of 88 euros per unit, meaning that, again, 88 euros for each chair. How much did the company spend on its new equipment? Okay, so we have some things that we bought here. We bought computers, we bought desks, we bought chairs. We're going to have to figure out the cost of each of these and then add them all together. Okay, so first let's start with the computers. To figure out how much the computers cost, I need to do the multiplication 3 times 625 because I bought 3 of them and each one cost 625 euros. So we're going to do this multiplication. I'm actually going to write it like this because since the second number I'm multiplying with is only 1 digit, I don't even have to write this vertically. I can actually do this horizontally just by saying 3 times 5 makes 15. So I'm going to write 5, carry 1. 3 times 2 makes 6, plus 1 that I carried over makes 7. And 3 times 6 makes 18. So the total amount of money spent on the computers is 1,875 euros. Next up, we have a little curveball. It's a bit of a trick, basically, because if you look carefully, what you're going to see is that for the computers and the chairs, we get the information that they cost this amount of money per unit. Okay, so we don't know how much they actually cost altogether. That's why we just did this multiplication, to figure that out. But when it comes to the desks, we are being told that they cost 185 euros, not per unit, just 185 euros, which means basically that all the desks together cost 185 euros, and I don't need to do anything to figure out how much the desks cost, because the problem tells me they cost 185. So that was a little uh, tricky. You needed to pay attention to the details in order to figure that one out. I imagine some of you may have done this multiplication 3 times 185. That would have been wrong, because based on the problem, we know how much the desks cost. 3 desks cost 185. That's it. Not 185 each, just 185. But then we come back to the chairs, where we are being told that they cost 88 euros each. So let's go to the chairs. Chairs cost 88 euros each, and we bought 5 of them. So again, I can do this vertically just by doing 8 times 5 makes 40. So I'm going to write 0, carry 4. And then again, 8 times 5 makes 40, plus 4 that I carried over makes 44. So the chairs cost 440 euros overall. So we have computers that cost 1,875, desks that cost 185, and chairs that cost 440. So now we got to add all of these up. Let's do that. 100. Let's actually start with 1,000, with a 4-digit number. So that's 1,875. And then we're going to put the 3-digit numbers, so 440 and 185, and then let's put them all stacked to the right. There we go, because we need them to be stacked correctly. And let's actually move this a little bit further to the side so that we have some room. Now, I'm going to add all of these. 5 and 0 and 5 makes 10, so I'm going to write 0 and I'm going to carry 1. 1 and 7 and 4 and 8 makes 20. Let's check that again. 8 and 8 makes 16 plus 4. Yep, makes 20. So I write 0, I carry 2. 2 and 8 makes 10, and 4 and 1 makes 15. So I write 5, carry 1. 1 and 1 makes 2. So that comes up to a total cost of 2,500 euros, a nice even number. Next problem. We have a camp, and in this camp there are 336 children who are sleeping in 4 people and 8 people tents. If 26 8 people tents are already full of children, find out how many 4 people tents are full of children. Okay, so basically we have 336 kids, and they're separated into big tents that can fit 8 people and small tents that can fit 4 people. And we know that there are 26 big tents that can fit 8 people, right? And we want to figure out how many small tents there are, given that there are no children left over. So let's separate these into. Let's draw this out. Okay, we have the small tents, and for this, I'm not going to make many tents. I'm just going to make one. So these are the 4 people tents. Okay, and I'm going to make one tent that is meant to showcase all of the people that are in the small tents. And then we have the big tents, right? And in here, let's imagine that there are all of the people that are in the big tents. So how many people are in the big tents? Since we know there are 26 of them, and each one can fit 8 people, that means that in the big tents there are 26 times 8 people. Again, because there are 26 big tents, and each tent can take 8 people. And I do this multiplication, and it gives me 208. So 208 of the 336 people are in the big tents. 208. So let's actually erase this multiplication. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to write 208 right here, because there are 208 people in the big tents. I don't know how many people there are in the small tents, but what I do know is that together all of the children need to be 336. So to find this number, the number of people sleeping in the small tents, I need to find the difference between these two numbers, because the difference between the total number of people and the people sleeping in the big tents is going to give me the amount of people sleeping in the small tents. So I need to find the difference between these two numbers. Difference meaning, of course, subtraction. So I need to do 336 minus 208. Now let's do that subtraction real quick. So there are 128 people living in, well, not living, sleeping, more like. Sleeping in the small tents, 128. And then what it asks, though, is not how many people are living in the small tents, but rather how many tents there are. So what I need to do in order to figure that out is the following. I need to think, well, there are 128 of them, and each tent can fit 4, so I'm separating them. I'm dividing them into groups of 4. So immediately, just from the wording, you can imagine we are going to be doing division. Four doesn't go into 1, but 4 goes into 12 3 times. And 3 times 4 makes 12. And if I do the subtraction, I'm going to get 0. And carry down the 8, and 4 goes into 8 twice. And 2 times 4 makes 8. So no people left sleeping out in the cold or alone in a tent. So my answer should be that there are 32 full tents. That was a big one. Okay, let's move on to the next worksheet, which has more problems. Let's get started. 4 performances were held over the weekend in a theater. The total amount of collected money was 15,720 euros on Saturday and 14,400 euros on Sunday. If the attendees of all 4 performances were 1,255, how much did the ticket cost for each one of them? Okay, so we have some extra information here that we do not need. It's, again, a little curveball that you could have dodged, basically. And that is right here. The fact that there are 4 performances, and here again, does not matter one bit. What we do know and what we care about is that they made this much money on Saturday and they made this much money on Sunday. And on both days, well, overall, this many people came to watch the show. So what I need to do is find out how much money was made overall, and then I need to divide that. So we are going to do 15,720 plus 14,400. Let's do that. And our result is 30,120. And now what we need to do is take this amount of money and divide it by the number of attendees. So 30,120 divided by 1,255. And if you don't remember how to do division with such a large divisor, I would recommend that you go back to one of the videos when we were talking more about division. Now, during our review, where we talked about what we do when our divisor has more than 2 digits. Basically, it's the same process as when it has 2 digits, but instead of hiding 1 digit, I'm going to hide as many as I can, as many as I need to, basically, until I have only the front one left, until I have only this one. So I'm going to hide 3, but if I hide 3 from here, I'm also going to need to hide 3 from the number that I'm dividing. So I'm going to hide 5, 5, and 2. And what I'm going to be left with is this 1, which I'm going to pretend is 2. And I'm going to say, how many times does it fit into 3012? Yes, it does. Let's try 1 time, because 2 fits into 3 once. 1 times this number gives me, well, that's the same number, so 1,255. And I'm going to do the subtraction, and I'm going to get 7 here. Here I'm going to get 5. Here I'm going to get another 7. And here I'm going to get 1. And this is more than my divisor, which means I've made a mistake and I need to go back and try one more time. Instead of once, I'm going to need to try twice. So 2 times. And 2 times this number is going to give me what? 0, 1, 5, 2. Now let's do the subtraction. And we're going to get 2, 0, 5. And here it's going to be 0, but I don't need to write it. And this is definitely less than my divisor, so I can continue pulling down this 0. And then dividing it with this. And I'm going to say, how many times does 2 fit into 5? That would be twice. But I already know what 2 times this number gives me. It gives me 2,510, which is much less than this. So it's definitely going to give me, if I subtract, it's definitely going to give me more than this. So instead of 2, I'm going to try 3. So 3 times this is going to give me what? 5, 6, 7, 5, 3. Now let's do this subtraction. 5, and 5, and 2, and 1. Oh, look at that. We got exactly our divisor, which means we made a mistake. We need to go back. Actually, we can do this a little quicker. We can go back. Oh, no. And instead of 3, we're going to try 4 times. And when I try 4 times, I'm going to get exactly 5,020. And by doing the subtraction, I'm going to get 0, which means that each ticket cost 24 euros. Let's move on. Peter wants to buy a laptop which cost 1,350 euros. He agreed to pay 580 euros in advance and pay the remaining amount of money in 5 equal installments. How much money will Peter give per installment? 5 equal installments means that he's going to be paying the same amount for 5 months until he finishes paying it off. So, out of the 1,350 euros, he paid 580 immediately. That's what it means that he paid in advance. So, and it's the rest of the money that he agreed to pay in 5 equal installments. So first we need to find what's left over for him to pay. So we need to do the subtraction 1,350 minus 580. And we're going to get 0, we're going to get 7, we're going to get 7, right? Yep, and 0. So 770. He takes this money, divides it up into 5 equal payments, and that's what he's going to pay. So how much money is each payment going to be? Since he's dividing it into 5 payments, that means we need to divide to find how much each payment is. He's separating it into 5 equal parts. 5 goes into 7 once. 5 goes into 27 5 times. 5 goes into 24 times. When I do this subtraction, I'm going to get 0. So each payment is going to be 154 euros. Next up, John's father is a truck driver and he's about to travel 2,380 kilometers in the next 5 days. For the first 3 days, he will drive for 6 hours at a speed of 70 kilometers per hour. On the 4th day, he will drive for 8 hours at a speed of 80 kilometers per hour. How many hours should he drive the 5th day at a speed of 80 kilometers per hour in order to reach his destination? Okay, so 3 days for 6 hours at 70 kilometers per hour. Now each day has 24 hours. Wait, actually no, sorry. Okay, so each day does have 24 hours, but he's only going to be driving for 6 of them. So 6 hours per day means that he's going to drive a total of 18 hours over those 3 days, because 3 times 6 makes 18. And for 18 hours, he's going to be going at a speed of 70 kilometers per hour. That means 70 kilometers every 1 hour. And since he's driving for 18 hours, to find how many kilometers he does, we need to do multiplication 70 times 18. And what is this going to give us? Give us 560 on top and 700 on the bottom. Now we add these, and we get 1,260 kilometers. Okay. So that's the first 3 days. Then the fourth day, he will drive for 8 hours at a speed of 80 kilometers. So we need to do 8 times 80, which is 160. Sorry, not 160. My mistake. I did 8 plus 8. Yeah, 640 actually. And then we need to figure out how many hours he needs to drive at 80 kilometers per hour in order to reach his destination. Well, we first need to figure out how many kilometers he has left to travel. So we need to add all of the kilometers that he's already done, so 640 plus 1,260, and then see how many he has left to go. This is going to give me 0, and then this is going to give me 0. This is going to give me 9. That does not look like a 9, but this does. And 1. So he's already done 1,900 kilometers, right? And he needs to get to 2,380. We need to find the difference between these two numbers to see how much he's got left. So we need to do 2,380 minus 1,900. Going to have a 0 here, an 8 here, and there's going to be a 4 here. And this is going to be 0, so we can avoid writing it all together. Now, we need to figure out how many hours he needs to drive to do these 480 kilometers. Since he's doing 80 kilometers every 1 hour, to figure out the number of hours, we need to divide this number by 80. So we need to do 480 divided by 80. Does 80 fit into 48? No. But 80 does fit into 480. How many times? Let's try 6. Because 8 fits into 48. 6 times. Oh, and look at that. If we do 6 times 80, we're going to get 480. So our answer is that he needs to drive for another 6 hours. Great. That'll be all for today. If you need to check any specific answer, go back to the point where I solved them. Take a look. Other than that, Easter break's coming up, so I hope you have a good break. Stay inside, and I will see you again after Easter. Bye.